Hey everyone, it's Jim T. Graham and Jason Cole, and it's the RC Groups podcast. Jason has a big report for you this week. Let me get my mic closer because it's so big. Jason's going to talk about competing at the San Felasco. What's it called, Jason?
San Felasco.
San Felasco. What a name.
In Alachua, Florida.
Alachua, Florida. So we're going to talk about prep for the show, what Jason brought, what happened at the show. Jason has a very special announcement that he would like to make. Maybe I'm making it into a bigger deal than Jason would like, but some cool stuff happened to Jason because of the show. And there's a cool new biplane on the scene. It's not the I've just shifted gears into new products that we're going to talk about. There's a new biplane that came out today from Hangar 9, and it's featured on flyinggiants.com if you want to take a sneak peek. It's so sneak, Jason, that they didn't even have flying photos of this thing.
Dang.
Right?
Well, that's that's kind of step one, right?
Right. So full disclosure, everyone, and Jason, I can't see anything. My eyes look like my wife said that I had the same eyes that our cat has when he wakes us up in the middle of the night, knocking her earrings off of her earring holder to make us awaken. So just FYI, Jason, I can't see anything.
Well, how many fingers am I holding up?
Rock and roll.
Hey, you got it. The bullhorns.
That's right. It's
nice.
It's weird. Everything's cloudy. Hold on, I see a light.
No, don't go into the light.
Don't go to the light.
Step away from the light.
I told my wife just the other night, don't go towards the light. All right, well, let's get to the personal aspect of the RC Groups podcast. We'll get this right out of the way. It's been raining like a mofo. I believe that's a politically correct statement or term I can use. And Jason, the rain was to the back wall of the creek, and I'm sure all the neighbors were looking because when I went up to exercise, everyone there wanted to talk about the creek and how they were concerned with the creek and groundwater.
Is that the creek, as in the Lord willing and the creek don't rise saying? Is that the creek?
If you're doing the best you can with what the good Lord gave you, then you are the right creek. Yeah.
There you go.
Now, actually, in my neighborhood, there are 3 creeks, and they all converge at the back corner of my backyard. So there's 2 upstream creeks, and then they all meet and go downstream. And so everyone in the neighborhood, or not everybody, but many people have to worry about this creek. And I am the creek guy if you want to know what's going on with the creek.
You've got the lowdown. You got FPV cameras fixated on it so you can pull it up on your phone at any time, right?
I lost my 900 lumen flashlight while fixing the dryer, and I lost it for about 3 weeks. And the last flood that we have, I could not see the creek. And I was going to go, do you know how much that flashlight cost?
Oh, a lot.
$137 because I went to see about buying another one. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do that. But then it occurred to me, I lost this when I did the dryer. So I started shaking the dryer. I thought I probably left it in the dryer, and that's why I couldn't find it. I looked for it like hours, my wife can tell you. But anyway, I found my Phoenix flashlight, proving once again that 900 lumens is something that you have to have in your life.
There you go.
Look for that review at rcgroups.com, FENIX review, and you'll be able to dig it right up. Highly expensive, but you can also blind attackers, as we proved at Joe Nall when I had pilots run at me. I'm like, just run at me and try to get me. And then when they would get about 3 feet away, I'd pop it right in their eyeballs, the light that is, and that was it. They couldn't get me.
You're done.
That was that.
That's
okay.
Great.
Jason, what's happening in your life?
Okay, so I'll talk about this first. I got a random package in the mail. I was like, okay, sometimes these things happen and you don't know what it is, and it's this.
But when you do, you will.
Yeah. But when you do, you will. Yeah, look at that. It's like I don't know. You can use it for dry eraser board if you wanted.
Let me stop you right here. I think that looks a lot like a Star Wars. What are the? Is it the Imperial? Yeah, it's a Stormtrooper. I believe there's a Stormtrooper mask in it.
So anyway, this is a radio from Hobby Kings, Turnigy. I guess it's called the Evolution. Just don't remember. I was like, okay, why am I getting this? This is interesting. And then you pop the cover off. This is for quad guys, right? You can use this for airplanes, but this is mainly for drone pilots and you don't want to have a bulky radio, and you put this cover on, and it protects your gimbals and your screen. You throw it in your backpack with your drones, and you just go to the field, and you don't have to worry about anything. But what I thought was interesting, it lights up. If Jim can't see it, but all you live viewers watching the YouTube video can see it. And the gimbals can change colors based on the vertical direction. It doesn't change left and right on either stick. Same way here. And then you can also program it to do just a solid color and whatever color you want. It's kind of neat. It's got 2 switches on the back, both 3-position switches. And there's a touch screen. So you can, go through and it actually will scroll. And there's very limited features. Like I said, this is mainly for quad guys. It's got a basic 5, maybe more channels. Auxiliary channels. We've got channel 5, 6, 7. So up to 8 channels. I don't think you can use all 8 on this. It kind of depends on your flight board. But there's no mixing. So you couldn't set up an aileron plane with this without wire harnessing the ailerons. You're not going to do any mixing. There's no exponential. There is some endpoint adjustments, subtrims, reversing, so you can reverse directions. So it's very limited, but mainly for quad guys who are going to do all their setup on Betaflight on the computer anyway. It's got a little knob here that you can rotate a channel on. So if you want to do a gimbal, rotate a gimbal, or there's actually another 2-position switch here.
How much did you say that thing costs?
I'll get to that.
Oh, sorry.
But I'll talk about the switches first. These switches stock come tied to the same channel. So you have like an array of different sections that you can move this on the pulse width modulator, graph if you're watching that. So you could have a bunch of accessories on one channel in Betaflight and be able to access them all with these switches on one channel, or you can separate them into 2 different channels. So that's kind of neat. It feels really good in your hand. It's super comfortable. The sticks and gimbals feel pretty nice. They're ball bearing gimbals. And they sound and feel really comfortable, really good. I mean, I think it'd be great to fly with. Nothing wrong with that. And then the kicker thing is it's so expensive, Jim. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'd pay $1,400 for a Jetty radio. This thing is ridiculous. No, mind. It's $29.
What?
With a receiver. Can you believe that? $29. And it's got lighted gimbals. I mean, come on. So
what are you going to put it in? Are you going to put it in something?
I'm going to find something for it. I don't really have, all of my drones are set up with Spectrum and they're built in. I don't know. I'll have to figure something out to try it out. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. And I'd never really researched these because I've got a ton of radios, a bunch of high-end stuff. But if you're getting into the hobby and you don't want to spend a lot of money and you're not sure about, this whole drone thing and what you think about it, if it's going to be for you or not, you just can't go wrong with $29. If you're going to fly a drone, it's going to do everything you want it to do for you.
That's what shipping costs on most things.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how cheap it was. And the other strange thing about why it came to me is it's not new. It's been out for years. So, interesting. But the main story here. So Steve was asking about the Deviant. So I went to the San Felasco DLG competition, the kind of the kickoff to the 2019 season. We were missing a couple of top pilots, but most of the great guys were there. Bunch of local guys, all your flying buddies you see at all these events. So it's really a social gathering that just happens to take place during a sailplane contest, which is great. But it was so nice to get down to Florida, Jim, and pull out of the car, and it's sunny and 75. And
did you get sunburn?
I got sunburn. You can see a little bit still on my face, maybe. I got the farmer's tan. Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, baby. But man, just from this harsh winter we've had with 1 or 2 nice days, to go down there and just have amazing temps and sun, it was awesome. But that doesn't mean it wasn't windy. So Friday was amazing. We had the 1 meter competition, which is the small DLGs, pretty cheap, a couple $100, $200-300. Anybody can get into it. And Gavin Trussell won it with a new plane from Armsor called the Deviant. It's a variation of the Go Mini, which is now no longer available. Everything is going to be going to the Deviant now. I think it's $300 something, maybe $350, somewhere around there. What they did was skinny the wing up. It's got that same real thick, wing cord to it, but the airfoil has been modified, so it's a lot skinnier. It launches higher, floats great. Gavin was launching the living crap out of it.
The snot out of it?
The snot out of it. It was launching the snot out of it. And it looks, it's very similar quality to the Go Mini. And, if you're looking for a 1 meter, there's only two I would look at, would be the Deviant or the Baby Hawk.
We should go look at that on their website. I'm on the Armsoar site. They are sponsors of RCGroups. They're advertisers. So thank you, Armsoar. Jason always says, I love the name of this company.
Yeah, Armsoar. And it's true, because, gosh, you do this for a full 3 days, your arm's going to be sore. But, so are you pulling that up, or you wanting to do it?
I could do it, but I thought you might do it since you're.
Well, you're already there, so I'm going to stop presenting.
Okay.
And I'll just talk while you show it. But
all right. First, I have to find it. Let's do something different. 1 second.
You're there. Sorry.
I was. But you know how it is, right?
I'll look too, because.
There we go. Click and.
It's on our script. All right.
I got it right here.
You got it?
There we go. All right. There's the Armsoar site. Now, where is it listed? Where would you go to?
I'm not seeing it. It's on. Whoops. Okay. So I'm going to go to the Sailplane channel page for RCGroups. And if you go to the hand launch glider section.
Oh, then I'm going to stop.
I'm just telling people how to do it if they want to know. So there's a new section called the Deviant.
I'm going to pitch it to you, Jason.
All right. Yeah.
It's crazy, like juggling over here.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to screen share. We're going to share the application window. And 3, 2, 1, bam. All right. So here's Thomas's announcement thread on RCGroups about this. Lots of color scheme choices to choose from. I think I know which one Jim would pick. That one right there.
I'm loving it.
Did he talk about the price? I don't see it. We weren't really sure. So here's a good pick. Boom. There is me with my Go Mini, and there's Gavin with the Deviant who won it. And you can see they're very similar looking. But again, the Go Mini is no longer available. It's all going to the Deviant, and it's awesome. So that's about all you need to know about that.
Motley Crew. Those things are tiny.
Yeah, that's the 1 meter, right? It's little baby boys. So
how much does that cost?
What?
To buy a Deviant?
You're looking at $200 to $400, somewhere in that range,
okay.
Depending on. And here's the Hawk. So this is the other one. Basically, you want a Deviant or a Hawk if you're buying a 1 meter. And then there's home built stuff. These guys are making their own planes.
Yeah. Who's the guy holding up the what looks to be the home built with the crossed carbon fiber top?
Man, I don't remember names.
That's not Tom Seiler, is it?
No, Tom wasn't here.
Tom's a thinner man.
Yeah. So anyway, that is. Oh, let me do this. Boom, boom, boom.
I can't believe I remembered his name.
Just that channel page. So here is all the crew from the full F3K competition, right? So I'll see if I can find some decent picks here to show you guys.
Well, first talk about what you brought to compete with.
So here's my 2 planes. I had 2 Snipes, and these were my original, the only 2 DLGs I've bought besides the Go Mini. So I've got 3, but the only 2 full size 1.5 meter. And I was asking people to mid-air me if they wanted. Maybe they would stumble and fall on my airplanes, because while they are both repaired, you can see a repair here, and there's one on my other plane. It's under the bags. They're both damaged. Still great flying airplanes. Nothing wrong with them. And they're just old. They're 3 and 4 years old now. How do I get out of here? And there's newer technology, right? So there's better airplanes out that's available. And I'm just like, I can't buy a new airplane. I've got 2 good working ones that they're fine. It's like, so somebody take me out. It didn't happen. I didn't land in the trees, but this is what I flew the whole contest with. And I did use my new FreeSky X-Lite radio for the majority of the contest, and absolutely love it for DLG. I feel like I throw a lot harder. It's just feels good and flies great. So love that radio for DLGs. Now let's talk about the contest itself. Started out Saturday, and the wind just picked up and became super nuts, and it was all headed back towards the tree line. There's Nathan Bartley, #1 national champion right there. Let me see if I can show you the tree line.
I don't believe you stayed on Nathan Barkley national champion long enough.
Nathan Bartley. I'll show you. So this back tree line, the wind was blowing into it. And so basically you fly downwind and try to hit the thermals off the trees and as it hits. And it's a good ways away. So it became a land out contest, like who could land out the least. And basically you're flying in a field. You can see a cone there, and the field is all marked out into a rectangle. And you're trying to launch, fly your task, and then land and make sure you land within those boundaries of the field. If you land outside of the boundary, it's a 0 for that flight. It doesn't count towards your score. And it's generally not a good thing to do. So it was happening everywhere. So many landouts, more landouts. I personally had more landouts this contest than I have in the entirety of my F3K flying career. It was really wacky conditions. And so I started out the day with a really bad score, first round, 500 and something points, which is really bad out of 1,000. And I'm like, well, there goes my hopes. I was like, okay, we get 1 drop round where you get the drop of your lowest score and it doesn't count. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll still be all right. Kept flying, had like another 700 point round, which you really don't want to do if you're going to be at the top. So I'm like, okay, I'm in 15th place now out of 30, 40 guys. I'm like, yeah, okay, we're just having fun now. It doesn't really matter. So I was experimenting, trying different things, and somehow managed to make it up to 12th place. And then I was in 10th and then 11th and then back to 10th, and then ended the day on Sunday in 9th place. And that take us to the fly-off rounds. And they take the top 10 pilots for this one to the fly-offs. And normally you would here's the say goodbye to this tent, by the way. The wind came so hard that it actually, there's a pole that goes straight down that it literally punched through the tent, and it's no more. So
is that your tent?
No, this is Gavin's.
I don't think those are cheap.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. It's really easy to put up and provides a large area of shade, which is really nice. But anyway, so we take the top 10. Normally, your scores would start over from 0 for the fly-off rounds. You'd do a fly-off 3 to 6 or more rounds, and then the winner of that would be the winner, top 3, whatever. But in this contest, they decided to carry over the scores. So all of your scores from the preliminary rounds counted. And so sitting in 9th place, really there was 0 chances of basically the bottom 4 or 5 guys making it into the lead. There's just no chance. You can't make up that amount of points. And so I was just going out there to hurt some people, right? You're up there to do really well and have fun, and there's really no pressure because you're not going to make it into the top 3. So I did that, and then I had great first flight. There was one round where it was I caught the only good ride and was just specced out, and everybody else landed out. And one other guy made it back to the field, landed 3 seconds early. And then another guy made his complete time, Kyle, but he was scrapping for it, man. He was working hard, and I was just doing aerobatics, stop, just having a good time. It was super fun. But so it all ended, and I ended up.
Wait. I feel like we're not looking at the photos enough here.
Okay. Well, here's the final score of the fly-offs. If you just take the fly-offs, not the carried over scores, I came in 2nd place in the fly-offs by 53 points. So I was real happy with that. It's the best I've done in a fly-off round. Kyle, congrats to Kyle. This was his first time he's ever won a fly-off. He's still looking for his first win. I don't have I guess it's in another thread, but anyway, Jeff Duvall ended up winning the entire contest. Then I believe it was Nathan, Ryan, and Gavin who landed out on his first flight, which was terrible, 0 score. But let's see here. Let me see if I can show you this. That's the 1 meter stuff. Let me scroll down here. Got the normal crew, Lou, and all these guys. These some of the local guys here that put on the event for San Felasco. After a couple days, this is how you feel. You just laid out.
You're San Felasco'd.
You were San Felasco'd out. There seems to be out of order or something's missing here.
Maybe it's the server.
I'm like missing got the 1 meter stuff. Yeah, something's off. Oh, it's way out of order. Okay. Yeah, so here's this is Nathan, national champion. We got these cool glasses if you can see them. And trophies. This is the Concept CX5. This is what Nathan flies. And so during this contest, I was sitting talking to Mickey, and he was talking to another guy who happens to be a lefty just like me. And he was flying really old, not good airplanes. And he was like, you need to buy a used airplane from Jason. It was like, Jason wants to buy a new airplane. He's like, you need to buy a used one from Jason. I was like, well, he's like, that's not a bad idea. How much you want to buy a used Snipe for? It's been repaired by Gavin Trussell. And we started pitching it, and then we talked about it. I let him fly it. He liked it, and I ended up selling it to him at the end of the contest. So he bought one of my airplanes, so I'm down a plane. And I was like, okay.
Wait, did you get a good price?
I gave him a heck of a deal. So normally the plane I paid probably $850 back when I bought mine. There's about $200 worth of servos, a $40 receiver, wing bags that are like $40-$50, and I gave it to him for $300. And it was, it was broken, it had wing damage and was repaired, and it wasn't in pristine shape. Yeah, so it's perfectly flyable. That's why I was still flying him in the contest.
I think $300 for any DLG is a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good deal. He's going to be super happy. It's going to do really well for him. But I'm trying to be amazingly competitive and trying to be at the top level, and you really need kind of the latest. You don't need it, but you need it if it makes sense. It doesn't hurt to have the best airplanes that perform better with the newer technology and design and all that stuff. So the CX5 is kind of the airplane. It's winning contests all over the place, all over the world. So I was like, you know what? I really want a CX5. I got to fly one at this event between rounds to test it out, and I absolutely loved it. So I emailed Rollo on RCGroups, who handles kind of the sales and teams and all that stuff. Said, hey, Rollo, Jason Cole here from RCGroups. I want a plane. What can we do? And he said, hey, we'd love for you to be on the team. I can either sell it to you for team pricing and you can be on the team, or you can get this discount, which wasn't much, and not be on the team and just fly it, whatever. I was like, dude, I would love to be on the team. That's amazing. Thanks for the offer. So I'm officially on Team Concept, which is cool. And I'll have 1 or 2 planes coming shortly. Still got to kind of waiting their production and some things, and it's kind of weird with me being a lefty, but I'm excited about it. I cannot wait to get it and fly the latest and greatest DLG that's set up to my style. So super, super pumped about that.
Let's do this. Let's go to that site and take a look at the planes that you theoretically will be flying.
Yeah, it is. The website's tricky. You can't really, there's not really an online ordering system. You kind of need to email Rollo. And let me see here. I'll go to the page on RCGroups where you can see there's a big, big, big thread I've been trying to go through to read about all of the information. Let me see. Concept X5, the Legacy. There's 211,000 views on this thread.
Application. And while you're looking at that, I want to share something. Now, you may not have known this, But while you were there, wait, that's not what I'm looking for. One moment. There we go. I don't know if I can zoom in on this or not, but I got in around that last day. I didn't run into you, but if you look at this score sheet right here, 1,000 points I got.
Oh, nice.
No,
I see
okay,
what you did
that's
there.
completely fabricated, not real.
I like it. I like it.
I thought it would be fun to fake it. All right, back to you, Jason.
Okay, I am pulling it up. How come this isn't working? Okay, fixing this thread. Here we go. So there's been a couple of variations that started out with a solid nose, and then you would have a cover. And they've since gone to a nose cone, a slide-on nose cone, which is what my snipe uses. I love the slip-on nose cones. Here's a good idea. This is kind of the standard paint scheme. They have different colors. But this is what they look like. It's a bottom wing mount, top horizontal stab. I think they run $850 retail for the new price. And that's fairly high, but it is the latest and greatest. And, you know, it's really kind of the best airplane in the market right now. Here's a bunch of concept flyers at an event. So I don't know. I'll have to, get them in my hands. Yeah, here's what it looks like now. There's a slip-on nose cone. It comes with a servo tray. There's a neat little ballast system that you can get for it that's 3D printed, and they have a 3D printed tray instead of this wooden one. And it actually has slots custom made for either KST or MKS servos, depending on what you're going to go with.
MKS.
Super, super easy to build and clean and really good looking. And then, you got a nice ballast system. There's lots of different ways to install the wing because you're going to have servos in the wings. You got to run the wires through to it. Let me see if I can find one of those cool pics. I thought it was a really neat idea. Let's see here. Go to the last page. Some of the newer stuff. Yeah, so here's that 3D printed tray. Then it looked good. And then it's got this little piece that goes all the way back, and then there's a slot that the ballast slides into and is secured so it doesn't flop around. And then you've got little holes here that the rod will slip into. So you just literally slide it in, push it down, slide the canopy on, and your ballast is in, and you can adjust it really, really fast. Here's what the ballast sticks look like.
So much sexier than what I had. Wow, even that is sexy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just brilliant. They did such a good job with it. So I'm not really seeing a wing mounting section like I wanted to show you guys. So one of the things we were dealing with is because I'm a lefty, the wing peg normally isn't like this. It goes through the wing, and they have a hard point in the wing that they make, and they don't really have any lefty wings. They have to make them if you want to do that. So I was like, well, what if I just use a T-peg like this and slide it in the wing like all the snipes do? And then I should be able to use a normal wing, right? And he was like, yeah, that'll work great. And then you'll have counterbalance on the other side of the wing to counter the weight of the peg here. So I was like, that's perfect. So I think I'm going to end up doing that, and that'll allow me to get one a little bit quicker than having to wait for a new wing to get built. So anyway, I don't know how exciting that is. I'm probably not a lot of glider pilots watching the podcast, but you guys really should try it someday. You would love it.
Well, that is awesome. Congrats on placing. I can't wait to see you become a top DLG competitor in the world of sailplane competitions.
Yeah, man. We'll do it again at the Nats in Muncie.
So with that, I have two questions for you. A, if someone out there wanted to get into discus launch gliding, what plane would you suggest they purchase first?
There's so many good airplanes. I would suggest looking on the sailplane classifiers. There's constantly DLGs being posted, and just kind of depends on what you're looking for, how much you're looking to spend. But
well, what would be a realistic price if you wanted to get into something decent? You don't want to get over your head. You don't know. Maybe your arm doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so Armsoar has some good beginner ones. The what's it called? I want to say Smiley, but it's not the Smiley. Armsoar. I have a beginner level 1 that's not so expensive, but I don't see it anymore. Maybe they discontinued it. That's interesting. Well, you're looking for composite. You don't want a foam. You don't want one that's like home built. You want to get a good composite ship to get the full experience, because I flew a couple of old school planes and they were good for their day, but you're not going to be able to launch nearly as high. You're not going to be able to float nearly as long. And there's just something about throwing an airplane in the air and being able to fly for 2 to 3 minutes or more in dead air with no lift, no sink. You can just float forever, and you really need a good composite ship to do that. And
what do you think you'd be paying for such a thing?
You'll probably pay $400 to $600.
All right.
If I had to guess. Yeah, and that's used and with equipment and everything, you'd be ready to go. You just have your radio. It's possible. Get some stuff.
What are your upcoming competitions that you plan on going to in the coming year?
Well, there's one next month in North Carolina, and it's actually a kind of a charity, but it's a fundraising event for the USA F3K team, who are going to Hungary later this year to compete in the Worlds, and they need donations and support. And so one of this contests is for that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make that one or not. And then after that, we're going to have the possum toss. If you like tossing possums, just right down the road in Tullahoma, Tennessee. That'll be a great one. And then there is the Nationals coming up in the summer. And sadly, the Bruce is no more. Last year was officially the last The Bruce F3K competition at the Thermal Farm in Kentucky.
I thought I read that.
11, 12 years they've been running that contest, and he's just in the guns now. Gliders have kind of taken a back seat, so that one's no longer happening. We've got the Pumpkin Chuck in the fall at Mac Hodges' place, and there may be some other things happening in place of the Bruce that the guys are wanting to put together, so we're going to see what happens.
So, totally unrelated story. I came home one day and my yellow dog was excitedly barking and running to the back room and running back and barking at me and running to the back room. And I went back there, and the dog was barking at the drapes. And so I grabbed the drapes to reveal a pretty large sized possum. And this is what he did when he saw me. He went, ah! I flew into the air. I went straight up, and then somehow I then flew backwards out of the room into the kitchen, and then that possum ran out the door. So that's my related possum story. I didn't chunk him. He chunked me.
Yeah. And then we have good possum for dinner at that show too, which is great.
Oh, well,
it's not real
whatever
possum.
You can pick up on the side of the road. Hey, before we go and thank our podcast sponsor and some news, I want to say hello to our live viewers. Once again, my live view count is not working, but Google, you never know what the hell they're going to do. Brian Chambers, Steve Wattenberg, Don't Break It, Steve, Wick, Steve Coggins, E-Powered RC, Nick, Mark Dibble, more Size Jones, he's my favorite, Victor Shemulus, I believe I'm not seeing any new names here. I'm reading. Aaron showed up. Aaron Grande.
And hey, when we get to the news, we got to talk about a big fucker.
Yeah, it's up here. I got that fucker going on. Hey, and let's not forget the Craft King, because he's number one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our podcast sponsor. I got a couple of new stories up on some interesting things. People like them. Let me go full screen over here for you, so you don't have to see the icons of the games I play at night. All right, and bingo bango. This is pretty interesting. There's some chatter going on about this. This is the Brewster F2A Buffalo, 36-inch, no landing gear from what I can see here. And we can take a look at the video.
I'm not familiar with that scale plane. It almost looks cartoon scale to me, but maybe that's just how it really was.
Coming to you from Hobby King and Felix the Cat, the Buffalo. I like the name. Zoo. Zoo. Zoo.
Hey, that's not that. Is that the same airplane? It's just that's a different.
Maybe they have different trim schemes. They do. There's two trim schemes on this bird. I don't believe it's too expensive. We're going to take a look at that in a second. 40 amp, 10 by 5. That looks like any regular prop there too. And someone's FPV in this dang thing.
Yeah.
So let's go look at some specs. That must have been a flight test shot right there.
Oh yeah, they've been doing that a lot too.
So EPO foam, pre-applied scale decals and paint, hand launch and belly landing, sport scale detail cockpit with scale pilot, compact size for easy transpo, ball link connections. And then here's all the specs: 36-inch wingspan, 26-inch length, 10 by 5 prop, 9-gram servos, and more info here. Let's go check out a price. I don't put a price on there on purpose because I think that these companies would like you to go visit their site. So I figure you should probably go over there. Here's the two airframe or the two schemes: early WW2 scheme and pre-WW2 scheme. 99.78. What do you think, Jason?
Pretty neat, man. There's a lot of scale warbird guys out there, and I'm sure, it's going to be a popular airplane for them.
And then this morning, yesterday, I was lamenting to Jason. I said, Jason, I got no stories. I can't write a story. No, there's nothing in my inbox. And he said, well, tomorrow's Thursday, bro.
That's right.
And so if you go to flyinggiants.com, the leader in the industry for giant scale news is the Hangar 9 Fokker D period. It's a D7 30 to 60 inch or 87 inch.
It's a big boy, man.
Yeah. And so here's the deal. I was telling Jason, this thing is so new. There are no photos of it on the site. And so these are the only two photos available, that one and this one.
Wow.
Let's talk about features before we look at the video. Lightweight,
for hanging on too, yeah.
2-piece bottom wing with aluminum tube, scale replica engine included.
Oh, they do have more photos on their webpage now.
Oh, okay, good. Convenient 3-piece top wing, detailed cockpit, 8-inch vintage scale wheels, covered in Hangar 9 Ultra Coat, complete quality. And then we'll take a look at the video, which is funny. Here. The war is on, and it's a race to the skies.
That's good, man. So good.
He waves at the Fraulines as he flies over. And then they cut to David Payne doing his thing.
Yeah. Whoa, is he hovering that bad boy? That's blasphemy.
Okay, so you get the idea. It's big.
Yeah,
so now we're gonna
one, man.
Yeah. I have a story about.
I'm sure we'll see that at Journal.
I'll save it for later. So there she is. 87-inch wingspan. So I know how big a 60-inch is. I'm trying to get a
big
mental
airplane. And when we see it at Journal, we're gonna be like, look at that little airplane.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel so small, but it's big.
Very nice. Where's the arrow? Is there an arrow? Am I not seeing?
And you just have to click the pick.
Yeah, there's no arrow. All right, there's that included motor, dual machine guns. There's your controls or your. Wow, that's pretty cool. I like that mesh. That prop is super awesome.
Yeah.
And that super scale.
That's nice.
That guy's a little shady.
It's not Little Pete.
Yeah. Where's Little Pete at? I'd have to have Pete in mind. Very nice. So here's
it's good looking
representation. So it's not crazily gigantic, like you'd have to buy another vehicle to haul it, but it's big enough to wow them at the airfield. And the price is $800. Let's see. So man, I was 1 cent off. $799.99.
But you went over. Ba-bum.
I bet $1. I was just watching that at the eye doctor appointment this morning. This guy kept anyway. It's a side story. No one wants to hear about. So there it is. That's brand new for the Horizon hobby. I will stop.
All right, stop. Let's talk Turbo Timber.
Turbo Timber,
the other new airplane from Horizon Hobby.
Okay, so I saw that. And I thought, well, I don't think I was looking at it while I was in the waiting room, and maybe I had to stand up at that point. Where the heck will I find this thing?
Go to the airplane section.
I went there this morning
and then airplane new releases.
Yeah.
And then scroll down to the bottom. It's not in order.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't see it.
The Turbo Timber for $269.99. Bind and fly.
Okay. So I saw this and I didn't understand what I was seeing. So this obviously is not a real turbo, right?
No, it's a variant on the original, right? That because we had the Timber X recently, right, which is awesome. I love it's aerobatic. This is more. It's just another variation with a turbo style look to it. Turboprop, look. So it's got that elongated nose, the 3-blade prop, the exhaust stacks coming out the sides. Flaps, ailerons, all the things you're going to want. 304S, floats available. It's a good looking color scheme. I think it's great. I absolutely love the Timber X. I wouldn't get this. Over that, but it just depends on what kind of style you want to do. That's completely different airplanes. But there's something about me personally, I just don't like the elongated nose of a turboprop look.
I like it. Now, I saw when you go to Jonelle, you'll see real turboprops, and I remember standing behind Kike as he was firing one up, and then it caught on fire.
Yeah,
fire was coming out of the pipes.
Yeah,
and not on purpose. Okay, this is what I saw, and I thought, what am I seeing? But here we are.
Yeah. New airplane, be available in a few weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks, 2, 3 weeks, I guess. They say early March. We'll see.
3-4S, so it's going to fly hard, just like the other.
Yep. They said lots of power, way overpowered on it, which is cool and fun. And the flaps, you're going to be able to do some stall stuff with it.
Where's the video, y'all?
I don't know if they got one yet. They may not have it yet.
Hero shot right there.
Booyah.
And the price is $239.
$269.
$239.99, bro.
Oh, for PMP, the bind and fly is $269.
Gotcha.
So well, cool. I love it's fun. Every Thursday there's a new cool something from Horizon. It's like, yeah, what's it going to be this week? So we can talk about it every Thursday and see what's up.
I was on the phone with somebody lamenting the sale of Hobbico, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. Is it? I think this might be a great thing. It's been picked up by Horizon, and that they're bringing out. They couldn't have brought out all these. Maybe I'm wrong, Jason. Maybe they could have brought all this out without having a secondary company under their belt. What do you think?
It's interesting, and I'm hoping that eventually the quality of the old Hobbico brands kind of steps up, because they'll have new releases, and then not talking.
It'll have to.
It'll have to. But somebody will get a review and that they thought was maybe an E-Flight plane, and it was the other. I can't remember what their other brand is. That was from Hobbico, and then they're like, "Oh, there's a lot more work to this, and the quality doesn't seem as nice. Well, this can't be E-Flight." And they're like, "Oh, it's not. It just came from Horizon because they bought them." And so I'm hoping that actually happens, and they can step it up and create all of their products to be the same.
I'm sure that there's no way Horizon would not make sure everything was up to snuff.
Yeah.
There we go. Just FYI, we did tons and tons of podcasts about our 3D printers back when we all three were 3D printer crazy. Yep. And that is a pretty awesome price, $339.24. It looks exactly like my other unit that I used to run, which was a 400 by 400 bed. I believe Jason and I decided this was a 300 by 300, which I have to say I almost ever went all the way out on my 400 by 400. So I think, plus this is about $70 cheaper.
Yeah.
Or maybe more than what I paid for mine. So I think that this is interesting and good unit.
I've got two still, and I still use them. And it's just not going 24/7 like it was when you first got it and you're excited. But whenever I need something, functional around the house or for a glider or an airplane or something, I'm all over building stuff, man. It's still awesome.
Right. Well, so Jason, it's almost the end of Feb.
Yep.
Today is 54 degrees, and then it's going to start flooding again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hopefully not too bad. I've got my waders and my Phoenix light and my big raincoat and everything ready in case it does.
Yeah.
And
it won't be long, man. We're not that far away. We can see the end of the tunnel here for spring and better weather.
I'm still serious about buying my own Timber-X to carry around in the truck and go out and fly. And that's kind of it. It's been too rainy and cold to do anything outside for me, except for today isn't too terrible, and I have to get my eyes dilated.
Yeah, keep flying that Inductrix brushless around the house.
So what's next for you, Jason? You got anything coming?
I hopefully have some new DLGs coming soon, and I think maybe next month I'll be getting a big like $1,800 F3K 4-meter competition sailplane. Supposed to be close to being in production and getting on the way to me soon. So that is also very exciting for me, and we're really looking forward to that. And that'll be a review on RCGroups, so should be fun.
Well, the next thing I'll buy, like I say, is that Timber-X, but I'll probably wait until the weather gets nice so I don't have to sit here and stare at it while the weather is awesome.
Yep. We'll go fly ours together.
I did order the carpet for the bed of the pickup truck last night, so I'll have hopefully at some point I'll have my fiberglass tonneau cover for the back and then the carpet for the bottom, and then I'll just be able to roll my plane in there and roll in my boxes. I got a couple ideas for dividers for the bed of this truck, so I envision, like, let's say you and I were going to Joe Knoll and we had radio cases and suitcases and airplanes. Mm-hmm. And so since the bed of the carpet will be carpet, I'm going to try some Velcro concepts of creating Velcro dividers, big foam block Velcro dividers that would divide, our fragile stuff towards the back and our suitcases towards the cab and things like that. And this is just kind of something someone in the RC world might think about if they were trying to get from point A to B in the bed of a truck.
Like this. Man. Very cool.
These are all my ponderings. All right. Well, I'm going to. I say what?
So looking forward to seeing that. It sounds like an article.
Yep. Later today, I'm going to install that secondary power window, and I got a bunch of little projects happening over here. Fun. That is it. Stay tuned on RCGroups for all the news that's fit to print on the site, and that's all. Jason, anything you need to tell everyone before we get out of here?
Just hang in there, guys. If you're up north, spring is coming. It's the opposite of Game of Thrones.
Well, my wife said that she goes, look, I'm not, she said, I'm just tired of this month and I want it to go ahead and be over. It's just dreary.
Yeah. At least it's a short month. It's almost done.
28 damn days.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. RCGroups. I'm reading the live chat. It's dangerous. RCGroups podcast. Thanks to Hoppy King for our sponsorship and for these many years. Jason Cole for reminding me I needed to get in the office and not walk around in a cloudy haze of blindness.
Don't drive anywhere.
Hopefully that'll wear off before tonight.
Yep.
Uber safe. All right, we're gone. RCGroups.com.
Later.
Matt Gunn would say, simmer down now.
Simmer down.
RTM.